back. All right, first question. You gotta bring the microphone on. We're gonna go to Brendan over to your left.
Okay.
Oh, no, all right, we're gonna go.
Oh, there we go.
Just getting you ready for Sunday, putting you in game pressure, game situations. You had two defensive ends who are now in the NFL, but is Jermaine different, and how much of an impact do you think he's going to have for this defense overall?
Yeah, no, I've been super excited about him since really the first day we had an opportunity to work together. I thought his work ethic in the offseason was tremendous. I thought he had a really good spring ball. Just the day-to-day physicality and the attitude that he's brought to our defense has been a positive. And he's had a really good camp. You know, he brings an element of physicality and speed, and having that combination is certainly a strength at that spot. So I'm excited to see the way that this plays out and what he has in his future, but I've been really pleased with Jermaine and certainly glad that he's here.
All right, next will be Brendan over here.
Hey, Brendan.
Hello. How close was the kicking competition between Ryan and Parker? And I guess ultimately what distinguished Ryan to get the week one start here?
Sure. I thought it was a really good competition, and we came out of spring feeling it was a 50-50 battle. Camp started that way as well. I think the thing that separated Ryan a little bit was he was just very consistent throughout the whole course of camp. And Coach does a good job of putting our kickers in challenging situations. We finish a lot of our practices with a game-winning kick scenario, and Ryan did just a fantastic job in those scenarios. So I think just from a consistency and just from his approach to the day-to-day work, he did an excellent job, and I'm excited about him and have a ton of confidence in what he's going to be able to bring this year.
We'll go to Gene on the right.
JP, we got the depth chart earlier this week, and it has Travis Jay listed as a starter on punt returns and also, I think, a co-starter on kick returns. Was there any discussion among the staff about a guy who's a starting cornerback, playing that many different positions, or is he just so adept at that position you have to get him on the field?
Well, I mean, it's certainly something that we're aware of, and we do have contingencies on both units for if he's out there in a long drive scenario, So for the punt return game, if there's a longer drive that leads to a punt, we have other guys that we feel really comfortable with going in there. And the same is true on the kickoff return. If what precedes the kickoff return is a longer drive for us on the field defensively, we have other guys that will go in those spots. So that was certainly a consideration going into it, but he is a weapon with the ball in his hand. So when we have the opportunity to have him out there, we want him to have those opportunities.
Next will be Jerry on the left.
Coach, you've spent a lot of time on special teams in camp. Can you just break it down for us, some of the segments that you feel real good about going into the game?
Sure. So just from a program philosophy standpoint, we do invest a lot of time in what we do on special teams, and we do that for a couple of different reasons. We feel like the fundamentals that are developed through special teams play is what allows you to be a really good player on offense or defense, because there's a lot of carryover in terms of fundamentals. So all of our focus early on in camp is fundamentally based, and then as camp goes on, it transitions a little bit more into scheme. I feel good about our units overall. I think the guys have done a really good job investing into buying into the program philosophy of how much we value our special teams, and I feel like we've made tremendous progress really in all four segments of our four core units, I think when the players understand the value and they understand that it can be a competitive edge for us, and they can understand how that's going to also benefit them as individuals, that's when you see the progress. And you've seen that throughout the course of camp.
We'll go to Adlon in the back right corner.
You should always have two questions in mind in case you answer the one. I guess you kind of really did answer, but just is there a true belief with the team that kick return game can really flip maybe the outcome of Sunday's game and just any other game this season?
I think there's a belief in the team that we're going to always look for ways to find our edge. And, we feel very confident about the work that we've put into this point on our special teams units. And, I think the coach Norvell's very first press conference when he came here, he made it a point to make the statement that our identity as a team is going to rest in how we play special teams. And when you have that kind of leadership and buy-in from the head coach, it trickles throughout the whole staff and throughout all the players. So I think our coaching staff does a tremendous job coaching the units, and I think our players understand the critical aspect that the special teams is going to play in each game. And I think for those reasons, our guys do believe it can be an edge for us.
Is week one more advantageous for you guys as a kick return unit, or do you like being 6-7 weeks into a season and know how you guys perform, or can you sneak up early on like this?
Yeah, I think you can look at that one of two ways. Probably the most challenging aspect of preparing from a special team standpoint is replicating and simulating the speed of the game, because whatever is going to happen in those return units is going to happen a lot faster on Sunday night than what our players have experienced throughout the course of practice. And you don't do a whole lot of live tackling throughout the course of camp on your special teams units. So I think there is an advantage that goes with week one, because neither team has really had the feel of the speed that's going to happen. But then there's also that advantage you have later on in the season when guys really get a feel for what a game-like situation is going to be. So, I just want our guys to go out there and compete, execute to the level that I know we're capable of executing, and play with confidence, because they've invested the work, so they've earned the right to do that in a confident way.
Come back to the front left for Brendan.
You mentioned Jermaine a little bit earlier. Between him, Kier Thomas, Marcus Kushney, those guys, the experience that they brought to that position group, can you just kind of discuss what they've done for some of the younger guys?
Yeah, so we felt like as a staff that a year ago, the two senior starters that, J-Rob and Kando not being with the program anymore, that we needed some experience to come in. And I think Kier and Jermaine and Marcus bring that experience. But I've also been pleased with the development of guys who have been in the program. I think Derek McClendon, I think Quayshawn Fuller have made progress, have improved as players as from one year to the next. So I feel good about the unit going into the year. I'm certainly glad that we got some veteran some veteran guys in and some experience. But I think overall, just the core group that's coming back, they're all a year better with a year more experience, and I feel a lot better with where we are now than probably where we were going in a year ago.
We'll go back to Jared.
Your special teams are a combination of offense and defensive players in each of the segments. Do you see unity or team building when you mix offensive and defensive players into a special teams unit?
Yeah, that's probably my favorite part about being a special teams coordinator, because and coaching is about building relationships with the guys on the team. And other than the head coach, when you run the special teams units, you probably have more impact on more players on the team than anybody else, because you do work with so many guys. So I definitely think it's an opportunity to build that team unity and that cohesion that you're looking for on those units, because it's not offense and defense. At that minute, it is kickoff return or punt or whatever unit that you're working at the time. And guys have the opportunity to work together. They all sit in the same meetings together. And it is a source of pride for those guys, because like I tell them the first day that they came here, not except for the actual specialists themselves, everybody else was recruited to this program to do something different. But for that one play and that one play and out mentality that we use on special teams, the most important thing they're doing is what we're asking them to do on special teams. And that buy-in, that team feel that comes with special teams is an important part of building the program the way we want it.
All right, last one, we'll go to Chris.
Coach Fuller referenced that Patrick Payton and George Wilson could possibly help you guys in some spot duty. Can you just talk about the development of those two young guys and this early in their career here?
Yeah, I was really, really pleased with where those young guys were at in terms of their approach when they came in the summer, and then how they were able to compete when it got to fall camp. I think Patrick, since he's gotten here, has gained 20 pounds or so, gotten stronger and bigger, and his ability to pick up the playbook has been really impressive. And George is a little slighter and needs to continually develop in the weight room and get a little bit bigger, but his speed and athleticism is a weapon. And I think both those guys could have roles to help us out at some point in the year. And I think the way the rules have changed, where you don't have to designate those first couple games as the ones you play in before you have to make that redshirt decision is really going to benefit those guys. So we're going to let them continue to develop as the year goes on, and then put them in situations where they can have success early on, and see where it goes from there.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys. It's good to be back in person. This is nice. All right, see you guys.